Good day, everyone. This is Terilee Harrison with Team Referral Network Virtual Chapters in another episode of Team Talk Live. And my goodness, I am so excited to chat with our guest this evening, my time, this morning, her time. Welcome, America's Supermom, LaChelle Adkins. How are you?
I am well. So glad to see you again, Terilee. It's been a minute.
Oh, it's been a minute, and I don't even like it when the minute passes. So I always love having time with you, and you are a true inspiration to me. I just said to LaChelle. Now LaChelle is the mother of six. No, not 16. I almost made it 16. 15. 1-5. Wait. 1-5. 15 children, everyone, and here I am, and I just have like one child left at home. I have nothing to be like off kilter about. My life is amazing. and LaChelle just handles it all with such grace, and I just admire that so much.
I really think it's just the ability to be real and down to earth about the issues that go on with being a mom and entrepreneur and a wife and everything else.
Oh my gosh, no, I think so too, and I love to be real also. But yeah, just it amazes me. It amazes me what you do, and I just am so excited to have you in my life and in my business community. And I just know that there are so many things that you and I could we could have a lot of fun and do a lot of things together. So that's what excites me the most. So we have a pertinent topic for y'all today, and it is, oh my gosh, because there's a lot going on. It is how to avoid business burnout. Okay. And so before we get into it, let me introduce you to this amazing guest who's going to guide us through this, because we could be burnout about so many things right now, everyone. Okay. Here's an awesome quote to get us started. Be the best you, because there is no substitute. LaChelle Adkins is a mother of 15 who juggles marriage, ministry, career, and family daily with a smile. It is not always easy, yet LaChelle attributes her success to clarity with her roles and goals. She's excited today to share these tips on how to avoid business burnout. So everyone, I know you must join me in being excited to welcome this amazing woman.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be here. I think it's so important to have these candid conversations, because just in life and the landscape of what's going on across the world, from the virus to the racial tension, I think it's important to have these opportunities to check in, because we can burn ourselves out if we're not careful with trying to be everything to everybody. And that's one of the things that I struggled with before in the past when I had suffered with depression.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad that we're talking about this. This is so important, because many of us whether we've experienced depression in the past, and I have myself as well. We never know in life what direction things will take us. And I think that you remember that I was very sick 2 years ago. And just because I survived didn't mean that you still have to recover and deal. And I didn't understand depression until I went through it myself. Wow, that's when you really get the eye opener on what's really happening. So today we are going to dive into this subject, and obviously you can tell already for our listeners, we're being very real today. We're being very real just about the things we've been through and what we see in the world, and just some top tips for really being able to cope, adapt, deal. And so I'm so grateful that you're here. So shall we get started on your tips?
Absolutely. So,
and they're not tips, you call them pillars. So I'll be quiet now.
So they're pillars. 5 pillars. So actually, just as my introduction, she says I'm able to do all the things that I do with a smile. So I thought, what is something that I could use that could be a reminder to me in my business, personal life, family life, on how I can check in with myself. I think one of the things with burnout is that we expel too much energy for ourselves. We're doing too much for ourselves, where we're the ones that we need to check in with. So when it comes to business, you're your business, you're your brand at a lot of times. And even though we have a staff, a team of people that we work together, it's important for us to check in with how we're feeling. So SMILE actually is an acronym. So as I struggled with depression, like I said earlier, for 13 years, I never knew what were my triggers. I didn't really even have the mindset to check in and say, hey, something just doesn't seem right. I was just on this routine of, having my list of daily goals and checking them off the list. So I came up with a strategy that I thought everybody could use and they could remember. I think this is mindful. Sometimes when you're overwhelmed, you may not remember, oh, I need to do 5 tips or whatever. So a
Oh, yeah.
smile, we can always remember that because even when you're depressed, you can put a smile on. Okay, you're hiding behind all kind of stuff, and it's while you're depressed. So the acronym consists of 5 pillars,
Yep.
and they are sleep,
Mm-hmm.
mood, your
Mm-hmm.
inner voice, laughter, and energy. So after my 3 hospitalizations, I wasn't sent myself. My husband just kind of gauged my behavior and was like, something's not right. So I didn't even have the ability to check in with myself in these areas and figure out what really was going on. So now looking back, hindsight being 2020, I think those 5 pillars are important to monitor because if you notice something's not quite right in each of those areas, it could be a strong indicator you need to call a friend, get a coach, or a mentor, somebody that you can connect with that can get you started back on the road where you should be.
Mm-hmm. And is this something that, if we have the wherewithal, like that we can communicate with our spouse about? Like,
Absolutely.
because I remember there was a day that I said, like, he didn't know. They don't know, right? I'm depressed. And I said, I'm afraid I'm depressed. And I just feel like I'm falling. And he was quite shocked. So even sharing the smile, if we know we're going to check in with ourselves, even like if we have it within us, sharing this with like the significant people in our life could be huge so that we can communicate about it, right?
Oh, huge. And I think
Okay.
sometimes, we go through the lens of if we're depressed, we kind of can check in with ourselves, but we also need to think about other people. You know,
Yes.
how are they doing with these things? It could be our kids, hey, I noticed that they've been up all night on a couple of days, what's going on with
Mm.
them? So things like that. These are just key areas that we can begin to really hone in on. Because even if you have a coworker or a friend, you're just thinking, oh, they're having a bad day. But if this is a pattern and you're
Mm.
mindful of that pattern, there are things that you can intervene with that could be a lifeline for them.
Okay, that is so awesome. So let's talk about sleep. When you are depressed, what are your sleep patterns all messed up? Because I love my sleep, so I never miss out on my sleep. So that I'm gonna override that every time. Okay, so tell us what it looks like. What does it look like?
For me, in my case, I can only speak for myself. I was sleeping like 2 or 3 hours a night on a regular basis. So this
Wow.
definitely sleep deprivation. You guys look that up and see what the aftermath could be. But I was in survival mode. You have to think back. I had like 12, 13 kids at home at the time. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
every day I'm like, hey, you just got to get up and keep it moving. So in each of these areas, I struggled all 5 areas. But I figure if you kind of know the warning signs, you can cut it off ahead of time so that it doesn't spill over to all those areas. Because if you have it in 5 areas, I think you're pretty far gone in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how our sleep might be showing up. How about do you
Right.
sleep? Do you sleep a lot? Anybody like? Did you think that in depression that it could be the opposite as well?
Right. I thought, you're always in the bed, not productive, not doing anything. So lot of the things that I thought, depression looked like, because I mean, who really is going to study it or anything? I'm thinking, hey, I'm up with my kids. They're going to school. They're making good grades. I'm checking these things off my boxes and I still was not right, you know?
Okay, I get
Mm,
you. Now we can check all the boxes in the world and be fooling ourselves, right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about how number two shows up because I can just imagine. But what is your mood like? What do you want to check in?
This definitely is another indicator for me. I would be getting up, making breakfast and stuff for the kids, but it's with an attitude. This is the first way I greet the kids. It's like, Mom, can we have such and such? No, I've already got breakfast done. Look,
Mm.
hurry up and get your clothes on. It's like little to no engagement, just, we've got a mission, and just not recognizing that they're the first thing that I see in the morning. And I'm just coming from a place of overwhelm first thing in the morning. So just having that time to be patient and not always be so robotic, that really was what my mood was like. Now, in front of other people, I could switch back and forth, you know,
Yeah.
meeting them at school. Hey, have a good day. It's easy to do that for a couple seconds. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a lot more at home, just snapping, and everything was just from the eyes of woe is me type thing. I'm doing all this and all that. Hmm.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that. So yeah, it can be super hard. It's one thing to when we're in a better place to be happy and these things and be lovely with our people, but no, when you're down, it's like no, I just can't even. This is all I can give you. This is all I can give you, and you may not
So
enjoy
true.
it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is oh, so important, right? Okay, so let's
Hmm.
talk about your inner voice. Mm-mm-mm.
Yes. Now this really, we're challenged with this all the time, depression or no depression. But it's just the mindset of really listening to what you're telling yourself. In my case, I even prolonged, I think, the depression because I had this mindset that I'm getting this stuff done. People need me. They are impressed with the things that I do. That validation from others kind of helped me with that inner voice, but it was like a dialogue that was always running. And when I got up in the morning, when I went to bed, I just never really had like a peace.
Mm.
Whereas now, I mean, it's like I know that there are limits to what I can do, and I'm not always chasing that shiny object of validation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Hmm.
awesome. And you're right. Our inner voice is with us no matter whether we're depressed or not, right? I
So
mean,
true. Yeah, it
always
comes up
there.
all the time. Yeah.
Always there. Right. But yes, no, having that peace is life changing, really,
Yeah.
compared to yeah. One thing I remember, I don't know where it relates in the five pillars, but I would
Hmm.
become paralyzed by the smallest things, like
Hmm.
I couldn't sometimes send an email, or like I would just become
Oh.
paralyzed, and it's like what is going on? Like it just seems
Hmm.
so big, and like I couldn't even open up with oh wow,
Yeah.
crazy. So I don't know
Yeah.
where it fits. Maybe that's just number
The last
6.
one,
Terry
energy.
Lee. Oh, energy,
Oh, energy.
energy.
Yeah.
Like no energy to even do the normal things, right? So
Exactly.
what you're saying? Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Well, let's move now from inner voice to oh my gosh. See, like you and I, we were cracking up when we were getting ready to do this because that's how we are. But it's impossible, right? It's impossible. Like check in if you're able to laugh, right?
It's so true. And, my husband has no problem with humor. He's very funny. He's always got a joke for everything, laughing about everything. And people say that about me now, but there was a time it's just like I'm so goal driven that there was no time for laughter. So my kids would come in, hey mom, doing whatever, and I'm like, look, can you get to work? I just really had no sense of humor about things. I was always, like I said, goal oriented and couldn't relax and enjoy myself. So for somebody who's struggling with that, just look up on Google for comedy jokes, or go on YouTube, because it really makes a difference to have laughter and just have that ability to just release different endorphins and just enjoy yourself and not take life so seriously. I think that's really the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had several comments. My good friend Farah Hussein is watching us. She's been having some comments, and the
Hmm.
one thing she said was, "I do try and not listen to my inner voice if it is negative, like really
Right.
for sure." Oh, and she wants to know how about laughing at your own jokes,
Absolutely. I laugh at
right?
I laugh at myself. I mean, if when you get into doing videos on a regular basis, you have to learn to laugh at yourself because it can be intimidating. so many business owners, as we transition and do a lot more things virtually, they are not comfortable being on camera. So I had to get over that a long time ago. So I just laugh at myself, and technology
Hmm.
glitches, right?
Oh, listen, we have no control over that. You know that. I say I love technology until I don't. And oh man,
Exactly.
oh
Exactly.
man. And one of the key things I have found in Singapore, we call it the circuit breaker, but it's the lockdown, was the importance of, number one, at least I'm locked down with people I enjoy being with, right? But my husband, just like sometimes when he feels well, he's very funny, makes me laugh, and we laugh about all
Right.
these silly things, and that is so important right now, right?
Yeah.
Just that laughing. And yes, oh my gosh, if we're unable to, it needs to be a strong sign to us. So I'm so glad you're pointing that out, because some people may not even realize, right?
Oh, I know. When you're business as usual, you're not even thinking. I mean, like I said, all these areas I didn't realize until after my own situation. And again, I was hospitalized 3 times before I really got the message. So I'm like, hey,
It's
we've
because
been there, done that 3 times. We're not going back. Yeah.
you are stubborn too and strong. Okay, so let's get back to the energy and like my thing about I couldn't even send
Mhm.
an email because it was freaking paralyzed, man, freaking paralyzed.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Mhm.
tell us more. Tell us more about this because there's people who need to hear you right now.
Yes. So, one of the things that I used to do just when I was dealing with this depression was I'd wait until my kids were in bed and I'd say, oh, this is my time to energize myself, to give to
Mm.
myself. 5 or 10 minutes later, I'm asleep with the book in my hand, falling asleep with my clothes on, and not having a good night's rest, waking up in the middle of the night to the book that's in my lap or whatever. And my kids were well rested. They had the energy to start a new day, and I was just already starting behind. So I began to flip that scenario. So my self care starts in the morning, first thing in the morning when I get up. I give myself at least an hour to read, to do self development, so that when they get up, I feel like a champion because I've already accomplished what matters to me and filled myself up first thing in the morning. So that alone was a major shift for me and a game changer.
That's so important. And I think it's about finding something that works for every one of us is going to have another way. And maybe that's what worked for you. And I love it that that's what works for you. But just we have to find our own right. And,
Mhm.
and, and being able to even take control of we were taking control of our own situation. So we were joking before this about how I'm on a cleanse right now, and she saw me do a live, which was like the first thing this morning for me. This is the end of my day, and like I told her, I said, I've had 3 smoothies, I feel fantastic, and I'm going to be totally clear and concise tonight. This morning I was struggling a little bit, but normally my energy isn't like that. But some of
Right.
this is too loving yourself enough to fuel your body right,
Yeah.
not be filling your body with junk. If you need to have movement, right, and I
So
can
true.
tell you that no, when I was down, that was the last thing on my mind. That's the last thing on
Mhm.
your mind, man. That is
Mhm.
it.
You're thinking
Mm.
about making it through another day, getting through this business, whatever those type of goals are. I think a lot of our goals sometimes we make outward, but we don't recognize the connection that we have to do inward. I can have
Mm.
the goal to write a book, have a summit, do all these things, but if I'm not taking care of me inside to refuel, to have something to provide at a summit, in a book, or whatever it is that I'm trying to do, then I'm not going to get very far.
Mm.
Hmm.
This is big stuff. This is big stuff, and especially in light of what's happening out in
Oh,
the
yes.
world. There's so much happening, and we're coming from all sides,
Mhm.
and it's not just us. Even like the people that are our family, the people we work
Right.
with, like it's how are they responding? How do we respond to them? So it's just a lot. So I know that you are super passionate
Hmm.
about coming alongside And is it men and women? I know it's women, but is it men and
Oh,
women?
yes. Yeah, it actually,
Okay.
I'm more partial to women, but yeah, it's men and women. I think we are, I have, sons. So of course it's men too, but I just think sometimes, well, we can recognize there are differences with gender. There are things that I could say to a woman, we just understand each other. And I think once I really honed in on that and didn't feel guilty about, well, this is for both, my sons and my daughters, and just chose what to do and went forward with it, that was very liberating for me, you know?
Okay.
So,
That's
I think
awesome.
that's important to remember.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now,
Mhm.
before we talk about the coaching session with you, we have a
Mhm.
note from Farah out of Scotland, and she would
Okay.
love to know. I know, and so she's been just with us this whole time, and she's been awesome. The one thing she says before her question: a good night's sleep gives me energy. But she
Mhm.
understands what I was saying about that. Okay, so here's the question: emotional overwhelm. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to, um, write everything down.
Mm.
Get it out on paper. When it's in your head, it sounds like it's making sense a lot of times. Been there, done that. And some of the things when we start writing them down is crazy, right? So I think right now we are very emotional with what's going on in the media, just what we're faced with right now. I think it's so important to write it down and look at it and create a real strategy that you can move forward with. Um, I was just talking to somebody who has a Facebook group last night, and I've never met her before, but she reached out to me in regards to Black Lives Matter. She's Caucasian. We had a great conversation because I feel like right now, a lot of people are bearing the weight of the world on their shoulders. And that's not what this is designed to do. It's about raising awareness and doing the little thing that you can do, right? I recognize that I have 15 children, and first of all, I want to do what's right for my household. And then maybe what's good for my neighborhood. And then maybe what's good for my state. And venture out, the little bit that I can. Because I think right now everybody wants to have this immediate fix. And we're taking on things that are just unrealistic. I've been there, done that. And I think it's so important to have a plan. What does your brand stand for? If you stand for diversity, you could just make a post. You could just start posting pictures of you being connecting and doing collaborative things with business owners that are all races. Just having a conversation with somebody that you normally wouldn't have is a big step. So I think we need to kind of give ourselves a lot more grace, be open about the things that we don't know, and move forward to a better tomorrow. I hope that answers
Mm.
their question. Yeah,
I think
I could go
so. I
off on
think
a
so. And
tangent. Okay.
she was very excited about the notebook. She's going to go get a new notebook, she said,
Awesome.
to
Yes.
write them
Oh,
down. Yes. I love
mhm.
notebooks myself.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So
I have a
I
ton
could,
of 'em.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So who would you, okay, I know you and you would talk to anyone, but who do
Mm,
you want to like look in the camera right now and speak to about setting time to talk to you and that you're there for them? So I want you
yeah.
from your heart to go and talk to them in the camera right now.
Okay. I would just say, for that business owner who is struggling with feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. It may not even be with what's going on in the media, but just in your own business. You are ready to move forward. You feel like you're always getting stuck. You don't really have a strategic plan on how to move forward, and you want something different. It's going to take baby steps, but I think having the right kind of plan is what's important right now as you move forward in your business. And so I'm here to help coach you and give you that clarity, because you can't go to a final destination if you don't know where you're going. And so I think that's the beginning step, is to move everything out the way, get that clarity going so that you can continue to put one foot in front of the other.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So if you're struggling with any of these things, please reach
Mhm.
out to LaChelle. She's obviously very passionate about this. She's very real about her own situation. And just want to encourage you. We're going to put a link in the comments below so that you know the link to schedule with her. So for those who have been with us throughout the live, Farah, thank you so much for being with us this whole time. I'm pretty sure she's out. You'll have to go enjoy the comments. And Lulu just came in. Hey, Lulu, great to see you. And Farah's been, wow. Helen Knight said hello at the very beginning. I don't know if she's still with us, but yeah, but just lovely name, LaChelle. Isn't it beautiful? She's just an amazing woman, right? Right.
Well, and one of the things I also want to make known too is that, with the coaching session, it covers the pillars of Fresh Start. Now, that's another philosophy that I use to overcome depression. So I just want to highlight those really quickly too. It's overcoming that fear. It's reframing your past, envisioning your success, creating a support group or tribe, and dealing with healing. So those are the 5 areas that are ongoing. It's a level of maintaining these balance in these areas so that we can move forward. Fear is it can paralyze us at any point. I mean, it could be personal, professional. That's just like a constant that goes on. But once you recognize what it looks like and you have strategies that are in your toolbox, so to speak, you can overcome that fear and keep moving. That was one of the main forces that got me out of my depression, was that I was like, I'm not going to the hospital a 4th time. 3 times is enough for me. And I said, how can I ensure that that doesn't happen? And so that's tackling that fear head on. And, you're always going to have it. We have fear about going virtual on camera, but, you just got to do it anyway, right?
You do. All right, my friend, it's been so beautiful to have this time with you. I always look forward to any time I have with you, just chatting, and I learned so much. And mainly, what brings me joy right now is just the ability to allow you to share what you're passionate about and what you're passionate about working with people for. So that brings me so much joy, Thank you so much for your time, everybody. If you'd like that time with LaChelle, please find the link to the coaching session in the comments below. And I just want to wish you all a good night if you're ending your day, good day if you're getting started. And we look forward to seeing you soon for another episode of Team Talk Live. Thanks, LaChelle, and thanks, everybody.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.